Well, the three independent MPs who'll decide the next Prime Minister have held their talks with the two-party leaders. They put forward a 7-point list of demands. Top of their agenda are briefings from the Department of the Treasury on the impacts of both the government and the coalition's election promises on the budget. But the opposition leader has refused to submit his policies to the public service for costing and instead has pledged to give the independents full access to his shadow ministers and to the private accounting firm that costed the coalition's policies. Stephanie Kennedy reports from Canberra.
I've no idea.
It was Independence Day in the national capital.
Grab a seat.
And the Prime Minister was spruiking her government's performance.
I have taken the liberty of preparing a folder about what our policies and plans mean for your individual electorates.
Then it was the opposition leader's turn and his new kinder and gentler polity.
I love the bush and every time I go to the country area I think this is fantastic.
The three independent MPs presented each camp with a 7-point wish list. They've asked for a briefing from the heads of Treasury and Finance and detailed costings of each party's election promises to check the budget bottom line.
We're doing what anyone would do if they're buying a house or going into any negotiation. We're seeking all information available to try and make some sensible decisions.
They're yet to be convinced by the $43 billion price tag for Labor's broadband network.
I haven't seen the real trail that ends up with that number, and in fact I think it's a fictitious number, but we want to find out what the real one is, and there should be a trail that leads us to that.
But access to the government's books is not as easy as it sounds.
What is sought by the independents goes beyond the normal rules of the caretaker conventions. My predisposition is to amend the conventions as necessary to facilitate the request of the independents.
But the opposition leader is playing hardball. He doesn't think it's appropriate for public servants to brief the independents on the coalition's election promises.
The government cannot discuss with them coalition's policies. The government can discuss with them government policies, but only the coalition can speak with authority for the coalition's policies.
Are you scared of what Treasury will find in your policies?
No. Public servants are not able to provide advice on opposition policies in the same depth that they are able to provide advice on government policies. And I said,
you become the next government.
The public service is not in the same position vis-a-vis opposition policies to provide advice and insight as it is to provide advice and insight on government policies.
And that argument hasn't satisfied the independents either. Unlike the opposition, the country MPs trust the public service and they still want the departments of Treasury and Finance to cost the coalition's policies. The opposition leader is more open to another of the independents' demands, a commitment from both leaders to serve a full term of Parliament. Julia Gillard also agreed and went further. She's willing to nominate a date for the next election in 2013. The independents also want sweeping reforms to political donations, electoral funding, truth in advertising and the parliamentary process.
Cheers.
Another independent, Andrew Wilkie, is going it alone. He doesn't want to negotiate as part of a bloc. On his shopping list, more funding for southern Tasmania, and he fired off a warning shot to both leaders.
I'm yet to finalise all of the issues I will raise with both the Prime Minister and the opposition leader. But in essence, they both need to understand that I haven't yet made a decision whether I'll support the Labor Party, whether I'll support the Liberal Party, or whether in fact I'll support no party.
He'll meet the Prime Minister on the weekend and the opposition leader on Monday.
Which way's where? That's what we're trying to work out.
The country independents will head home tomorrow and they'll be back in Canberra next Monday to spend the full week or longer until a deal with one side is finally sealed.
Thanks, Tony. We split.
Stephanie Kennedy, Late Line.